The seven principles of the United States Constitution. These seven principles laid the foundation upon which the preamble, the seven articles, and the Bill of Rights were built upon by the framers of the Constitution. And so we know that the first three words of the Constitution is "we the people." From the very beginning, they established the idea of popular sovereignty. Popular sovereignty means that the government gets its authority, gets its power from the people. It also means that the people have the right to change or abolish their government if it is not doing its job, if it is not doing what is best for the people. Right? So popular sovereignty, the government gets its authority, gets its power from the people. The second principle of the United States Constitution, Republicanism. Right? And as you know, as you can see, the idea of republic is in here. All right, republicanism is the idea that people elect representatives to run the government. This idea dates back to ancient Rome. It's the idea that people elect representatives, and those representatives make decisions for them in government. The United States is considered a constitutional republic. The next principle, limited government. Limited government is the idea that the government must have restrictions on it. The government only has the power that the Constitution gives it. Limited government also includes the idea that everyone must obey the law. So, from the president to me and you, everyone must obey the law. That is limited government. It sets restrictions based on the Constitution, and it's the idea that everyone must obey the law. The next principle, federalism. Federalism. It's the idea that there is a division of power between the federal government and the states. So there are some powers that go just to the federal government. An example of this would be to coin money. Right? That is the federal government's power. There are some powers that just go to the states. Some examples of this would be the idea of driver's license or a professional license, such as like being a teacher or a doctor or a lawyer. That power goes to the states. And then there are some powers that are shared that both the federal and state governments have. An example of this would be the power to collect taxes, to levy taxes, or the power to fix roads. Right? Those go to both. It's a shared power. Federalism also has this idea of the supremacy clause. Federal laws supersede state laws when there is a conflict. So, supremacy clause, federal laws are supreme, right? They supersede state laws when the conflict exists. The next principle, separation of powers. The United States government is divided into three separate branches of government: the legislative, the executive, and the judicial. They separate the powers. This prevents one branch from gaining too much control over the government. Checks and balances. These are safeguards against abuse of power. Each branch of government has the power to limit the actions of the other two. So, for example, Congress passes laws, but the president has the power to either sign or veto those laws. And the judicial branch has the power to declare those laws unconstitutional. Right? These are examples of checks and balances. Right? Safeguards put into place so we do not see any abuse of power from one of the three branches. And the last principle of the United States Constitution is individual rights. Individuals in the United States have guaranteed rights. These include freedom of religion, freedom of speech, right to a trial by jury. Right? These rights were the focal point of the anti-federalist argument, which led to the Bill of Rights, the first 10 amendments that provided some guaranteed individual rights.